Hello everyone, welcome to J Crochet. I am Reggie and this is Yarniversity. Our Easter vacation is over and it's back to school, and we have a very interesting subject to talk about today. But first, I would like to thank you all very much for coming. Thank you for joining me today. Please don't forget to hit the thumbs up on your way in. It's this little thumbs up button under the screen. Just hit the like button for the stream. Let YouTube know that we are here. And if you're not yet subscribed to the channel, I would very much appreciate it if you consider subscribing. Let's see who's with us today. I see Francine, hello, and Denise and Alicia. Alisa, hello, and Sadie is here. Hi from Sadie's Screencraft. And Jana, hello. And I see Doris. Hi, welcome. Thank you for joining in. And we have Knitting Turnpike. She says, hi Reggie, so happy to have caught your live chat for once. Oh, well, welcome to the live chat. And Dana is here from Dana's Wanderlust Crochet. Hello, Dana. Thank you for joining in. Sadie says it's snowing here in the UK. It snowed here this week as well. And Catherine is here. Hello, Catherine from Cat's Eye Catchers. If you haven't checked her out, go check her out as soon as you can, because she has a great giveaway going on right now. And Doris is not leaving bed. I guess you're having bad weather too. Jana is actually having wonderful weather. And Debbie is here. Hello, Debbie from Debbie Loves Yarn. Welcome in. And Anvita, hi. And Alice, welcome. And hello, Unapologetically Mocha. And Bina from Yarn Crossing. Hello to everyone. And Jamie's here. Well, I'm very happy to see you all here today, to welcome you all back, or welcome you to Yarniversity, or welcome you back to Yarniversity. Those of you who are new here, welcome. We love new students. Please, like I said, don't forget to hit the thumbs up, and if you are not subscribed yet, please subscribe to the channel. What's going on here on Yarniversity is that I am giving a live chat class. Every week is a different subject. Well, actually, all through April, we will sort of be on the same subject, but I will talk about that in just a little bit. So I don't always read the chat. I talk, I give the class, and every once in a while I will hop back into the chat and read some comments. If I have missed your comment, you can just write it again and I will maybe catch it up next time. If I didn't read your comment, I'm not ignoring you, not on purpose anyway. I am just not very good with keeping up with the chat. Plus, I am here to give a live stream class. So this is less of a chatter kind of live stream. People in the chat are welcome to chat between themselves, but I read the comments whenever I am in between subjects or when I answer questions. So let's see if anyone new has joined us. Hello, Debbie. Welcome. And Jamie says she's better now that school is in session. I'm very happy that you all feel that way. I have missed you guys all as well, as although I have seen many of you in the YouTube halls over the past 2 weeks. And oh, we have a new member. Welcome Knitting Turnpike to our membership program. So cheers to you, and I will ask all the members in the chat to use their very special cheers emoji and welcome our brand new member. Welcome, thank you for joining our membership. If you're interested in joining the membership program, all you have to do is press that little join button underneath the screen. And if you press that join button, you will get a full rundown of what it means to be a member, what are all the perks that come along with it. And you can choose whichever program out of the membership programs that you're interested in. And you will get your perks according to the program that you signed up for. So, you know, if you're interested in that, just hit that button and you are more than welcome to join the Yarniversity membership program. We actually have one new member who joined during the past week, and that is Billy Joe Gonzalez. So welcome, Billy, and thank you for joining in. And oh, and we have a new Unapologetically Mocha, welcome. And thank you for joining the membership program as well. And cheers, you get a cheers too. So wow, 2 new members right straight up on the beginning. It's already a wonderful class already. So cheers to you guys. All right, before I hop back into the chat and welcome everyone who joined in the meantime, I am going to do what I normally do at the beginning of these live streams, which is a little bit of administrative announcements for the past week or the next week or today's class. If you are watching this on replay, feel free to fast forward. The first 20 to 25 minutes of the live stream are pretty much a lot of chatter, administration, me saying hello to everyone, me talking about things that happened over the past week. So if you're watching on replay and you're not into that, you can just fast forward. And if you are here live, then you can comment in the chat and communicate with me while the chat is, the live stream is going. And if you're watching on replay, but you have any questions, you can comment them down below the video and I will answer them in the comments. Oh, we have Angelina here. Hello. And Dee is joining us. Hello. Ooh, and we got a super chat. Thank you, Dana. Dana is saying, Reggie, I'm so impressed with the things you are doing. Thank you very much, Dana. That means a lot to me. And cheers to Dana. Thank you for the wonderful super chat. Wow. You guys are gonna get me drunk before the class even started. Hello to HD and Made Designs. Welcome in. All right, you guys are talking to each other. That's totally fine. Chatter in the back is well accepted. So as I was saying, if you guys are watching this on replay, feel free to fast forward to where the class actually begins. And if you are here live, then, well, you're kind of stuck with my chatter until I start the class. Okay, so we always begin with a few administrative things. Oh, Dee's saying she just put on fake nails and having problems typing. Well, Dee, feel free to lurk. I welcome that. And I'm looking forward to seeing your new fake nails on your live later. Okay, so a few things that happened over the past week. First of all, as I've said, we have welcomed a new member into the membership program. It's Billy Joe Gonzalez, and welcome to Billy. I don't know if she's here with us today, but welcome. Another thing that happened over the past week is that I uploaded the new 2021 advent calendar, hand-dyed yarn advent calendar, to the Etsy shop. And I remind you all that as viewers of my channel, you get 15% off on all the listings, and the code for that is in the description box below if you are interested in the advent calendar. And if you are a member of the channel, you actually get 20% off on all the listings. So look in your membership tab for the code to that if you're interested in the advent calendar. The number of advent calendars is of course limited, so once they sell out, they sell out. This year's theme for the advent calendar is Holiday Masquerade, and there will be sparkle and there will be some very distinctive dark jewel tones, and you can expect a lot of drama. So if, like I said, that's what you're interested in, then go check out the listing on Etsy. Also, something very excited that literally just happened this morning, the channel hit 3K, and wow, congratulations to us, to all of us, because it's all of you. I am overwhelmed, overjoyed. It makes me very happy. It tells me that I'm doing something that you guys like, and I'm very happy when, you know, when people talk about the channel, recommend it to other people. So thank you all very much. That means a lot to me, and it's all you guys. So in celebration of the 3K subscribers of the channel, we are going to have a very special celebration. It's going to be a live stream this upcoming Thursday. I've already set up the event on YouTube. So if you go back to the channel, you can already set yourself a reminder. And I posted the link on the Facebook group and on a bunch of other places. So you can see what time it is and set yourself a reminder so you won't miss it. There will, as usual, be a lot of stuff giving away during that celebration live stream, but it will not be a trivia live stream like my holiday live stream. So it will be something completely different. We will still have a lot of prizes, but winning them will be a bit different. So join me if you're interested in that. 3 last things that I wanted to mention. Some of my favorite shops are having great sales this weekend, so I wanted to mention those. If you follow me on any of the social media, maybe you already have seen these because I shared all of these. So Martin's Lab, I literally just did this week a video unboxing some yarns that I got from Martin's Lab, and they're having a sale this weekend only. So it's only this weekend, it ends Monday. 40% off a very large chunk of the yarns on the website. So if you haven't seen that video, go back to the channel, watch the video. And if you're interested, then the link to the website is in the description box below, and the discount is automatic at checkout. Another wonderful maker that I love and buy from a lot, Amelia X Joy. If you guys follow me, then you know I have a whole bunch of her project bags, and she also have donated some project bags to different giveaways that I did, and I also have a whole video about her store back on my channel. So if you're interested in watching the video, you can go back to the channel and watch the video. And if you're interested in what she makes, then again, this weekend only, she is having a sale on her Etsy shop. Again, automatic at checkout, no code needed, all items in the shop included, so go check it out. And the last thing I wanted to mention is Skritzy, my favorite hand cream company or private business owner company. I have a very special discount code. It's TUBE10. It's down in the description box along with the link to the Etsy shop. So if everyone is interested in that, use the code down below. Okay, now that I said all that, I can go back into the chat and see what you guys were talking about. So, ooh, wow, you guys were talking about a lot. Okay, what did I miss? What I miss? Sorry if I miss anyone, okay? You guys know I'm not very good with keeping up with the chat. Jana says the advent calendar sounds amazing. Yeah, definitely go check it out. It's gonna be something we're working hard. And everyone's congratulations for the 3K, and thank you. I mean, congratulations to you too. It's all of you. I mean, I didn't bring the 3K, you guys did. So thank you everyone for the congratulations, and yes, cheers to all of us. That's very, very happy news. Ooh, and I'm getting some Dolly kisses. Oh, kisses back, and pets and hugs. Hello Renee, and hello Kim, and hello to everyone joining. So yeah, don't forget to hit the thumbs up when you come in. If you're not yet subscribed to the channel, I would very much appreciate it if you subscribe. And yeah, keep talking about the channel, recommending us, sharing around is very much appreciated. Okay. So as I was saying before, we are in April, and this month in Yarniversity will revolve around design workshop. So we will talk about how to alternate patterns, how to size patterns to your own need, change different things in the pattern to make them what you want. Take a pattern that's written one way, figure out how it is constructed, and deconstruct it or reconstruct it in another way. We will also, at the end of the month, on the last class, we will touch on design and how to start designing your own. But I cannot just do a class on how to design without everyone having that base, which is why the whole month is sort of like a workshop. I also named it that way. Because we're going to build up You know, some people, or we are not all in the same level. There are some people in the chat whose level of crochet and design is higher than mine, and some people in the chat who are just beginners, and some people who are just generally somewhere in the middle. So what we're going to do is we're going to start from what I think is the bottom of understanding how crochet patterns behave, and we will learn to analyze that and see how we make it our own until, you know, gradually coming up to designing something right of our own after we understand all of this basic stuff. So because today is the very first part of our design workshop, it is, you know, basic beginning. So to some of you, things that I'm going to say today might be obvious. To some of you, it might be news. To some of you, it might be somewhere in the middle. Some of them you know, some of them you don't. So, but I have to do it this way. Otherwise, it will be like I'm jumping the gun. And I don't like to do that. I like to give everyone all the information they need in order to know what I'm talking about. However, I will say this. We are up to class, what are we now, 12, 13 of Yarniversity. So some of the things that I'm talking about, I have already spoke about in other subjects that that we talked about in the past. So if you missed a class of Yarniversity sometime in the past, for example, if you haven't watched our crochet math episode, then there might be some parts or some classes that you might want to go back and watch in order to understand what we're talking about. Now, I'm not saying do it right now because it wouldn't help. But if you have not watched the Yarniversity class about crochet math, or if you did not watch the 2 Yarniversity classes that were about reading diagrams and charts, then you might want to go back and do that sometime during the week so that you are prepared for next week's class. Because a lot of things that I'm going to talk about today have to do with math, increasing, decreasing, figuring out the stitch count, which is something we spoke a lot about when we talked about crochet math, and I explained how to figure out the stitch count, and I'm not going to repeat that. So I'm not going to once again do the whole how do I figure out the stitch count of a pattern. And that is something, I'm sorry, but if you have a pattern and it's written a certain way and it does not fit the sizes that you need and you need to size it differently, then you have to know the stitch the stitch count. And I already explained how to figure out the stitch count, and we're not going to re-explain it. So I hope that's all acceptable and understandable with everyone. And yeah, I mean, we are in Yarniversity. I am giving a class every Sunday, and I cannot repeat things 1,000 times because new people who weren't here in previous weeks are coming in, because it's not fair to the people who are following every single week. And I know it's a little bit not fair to say, because maybe you just subscribed to the channel this week, maybe you're brand new to the channel, but YouTube works in a mysterious way and all the previous videos are still out there. And that is exactly what it is for. So all you have to do is go to the channel, to the main page of my channel, press on that little tab that says videos, or even easier would be to press on the little tab that says playlists and go directly to the Yarniversity playlist and find all the past classes. And if there's anything that you miss that is important to this class, I would recommend watching it. And maybe you will find a different class that's very interesting and you just missed, and you want to watch it because it's interesting. All right. Nancy is here. Hello, Nancy. Did you get the notification? I saw that you left a message that you were coming in to see if you get the notification, so I'm interested in knowing if you did. Chrissy got her stitch markers that she won on the game show from Catherine, and she said she loves them. So that's wonderful. And Catherine says she's listening but making dinner, so if you need an intervention, give me a yell, okay? I will do, Catherine, and thank you. Thank you, Catherine, very much. Catherine is doing a wonderful job as my moderator on my chats. I'm very proud of her. Thank you, Catherine. Yes, I'm happy. I'm very happy that she likes it too. In general, if you win anything on my channel, on any one of the giveaways, on the Yarniversity giveaways, on anything else that I do, on the hook, whenever I do an on the hook episode, I do giveaways, and whenever I do one of my big game shows, there's a lot of prizes to be won. So if you win anything and you get it, I would love to see. Also, if you purchased anything from the Etsy shop, from the Teespring shop, if you want some Yarniversity merch, you know, Yarniversity t-shirts, cups, swag, Yarniversity swag, we have a very cool logo. If you guys did not check it out yet, there's like 4 different options for logos, I think. So if you haven't checked it out yet, definitely check out the Teespring and the Redbubble shops and get yourself some Yarniversity swag. And if you do, I would love to see pictures. So, you know, post them on the Facebook group, post them on Instagram, #Yarniversity. You can also tag me, crochetjhook on Instagram, or send them to me by mail. That's good too. My email is in the description box of each one of my videos. Kim says, Reggie, great job moderating Alicia's bod chat yesterday. It must have been insane. It was. For those of you who weren't there yesterday, Alicia from Little John's Yarns, I am a moderator on her chat. And yesterday I was the only moderator present during the chat, and she just happened to be interviewing Crystal from Bego Day Crochet, which meant the chat went crazy. I was working like crazy. And I'm telling you guys, when you guys are just like on the chat and you're not a moderator, you don't see how much work a moderator does, how many comments a moderator has to approve or disapprove, or look out for unkind comments and delete them, put people on timeout, and so on. Yeah, I was working like crazy yesterday. Thank you for noticing. Maybe you'll get some for your birthday, Nancy. Wonderful. Lori says, congratulations on 3K. Hope I can make it to the party. I hope so too. Can't stay right now. Okay, just arrived at your sister's house. She's ill. Oh no. Best wishes to your sister. I hope she gets well soon. And yeah, definitely watch back later. And I know that you have some Yarniversity swag already, Lori. You enjoyed it, Debbie? I'm happy. Yeah, it was about 600 people in the chat yesterday. It was hard work. And Alicia has 3 moderators on her chats, but I was the only one there yesterday, which was very weird. None of the other 2 attended, and I kind of feel like maybe they did it on purpose. Maybe they like kind of screwed me up on purpose. Who knows? It was fun though. I felt it was like a huge compliment when Crystal actually knows my channel. I had no idea that she does. I was like, oh, what? She recognized my name. She even said she watched some of my videos. Wow. Could I provide a link to that video? I could, but not right now because I am on my streaming program and I can read the chat, but I cannot write in the chat. So, you know, if you're not a subscriber of Little John's Yarns, then definitely go check her out. She's wonderful, Alicia at Little John's Yarns, and it's just, you know, in her videos, the last one, the one from yesterday. Yeah. It was insane. Yes. Yes. It was insane. So, okay. Now we are 25 minutes in, and as I promised everyone who's watching it on replay, this is about the point where we begin our class. So I did all the administrative notices for today, and I told you guys everything that you needed to know. And yeah, so don't forget to thumbs up if you haven't yet. If you're new here, don't forget to subscribe. Check out the Etsy shop, new listing, and discount code for all of you guys is in the description box below. If you remember, you have a larger discount. Check it out in the membership section. And if you want to join the membership program, just press that join button and you will get a full rundown of what it means to be a member. We will also have a giveaway on today's Yarniversity, just as I do with every Yarniversity, but I will show you what that is later on. So we jump right in. So as I said, we are building this series up, and we are going to start from the basics. And the very, very basic of changing a pattern to fit your own need is sizing it differently than what it is written. Now, it makes a lot of sense. We are all different people. We are all built differently. We have different body types. Some of us who have the same body type have different body sizes, right? So some people have wider shoulders. Some people have wider thighs. Some people have very narrow hips. Well, sorry, getting my anatomy here mixed up. So you will find people in every possible size and shape, right? So it kind of makes no sense actually to size clothes, but I guess you have to. I'm sure that it happened to you a lot of times that you went to the shop to buy a t-shirt, and you know, you get one size, it fits here, it doesn't fit there. You get a different size, it fits there, it doesn't fit here. It's too wide, it's too narrow, it's too tight under the arm. We see it with mass-produced clothes, right? So why wouldn't it be the same with things that we make ourselves? Now, personally, I design all of my patterns, and if anyone in the chat have ever made any of my patterns, then you know that all of my patterns are written in a way that explains to you how to fit it to your own need. Unfortunately, the mass load of crochet designers do not design that way. Most crochet designers, or most crochet patterns that you will come across, will tell you how much to change for a certain pattern, or how much to add, decrease or increase for a certain pattern. They will tell you what kind of yarn you need and what kind of hook, and they will tell you the gauge, and if you don't meet the gauge, they will tell you to get this size, you need to get this gauge and work this amount of stitches. So it is, if you work a pattern that's written like that, then it is very, very common that you will finish the pattern, you worked it all the way up to the size that you need, but it doesn't actually fit you right, or it doesn't actually is the right length or the right width, or it's narrow in some parts, and just like regular clothes when you go to the store, right? Which is why, as I've said, I'm a big believer in writing the patterns in a way which allow the user to size it to their own needs. But what we're going to do today is learn how to take a pattern that's not written in a way that allows you to change it and change it, okay? And so this is the very, very, very basic of sizing up or sizing down a certain pattern, or taking a pattern that is one thing and turning it into another, because it is class number 1. But as we advance with the with this month, we will get more and more and more added on top of it, until in the end you will know how to make a garment from beginning to end. All right, let's see what you guys said so far. There wasn't much chatter, I guess. Hello, Julie, welcome. Watching while your new puppies are napping. Oh, you got new puppies. That's so cute. Debbie has her pen and paper. That's wonderful. Oh yeah, I apologize in advance that the material for this workshop is not yet on the blog. It will be eventually after the whole series is over. The reason I do it this way is because I want to write it in a way that you will all understand it, and I can only know what the level of understanding is after I finish the whole series. It makes sense in my head, so I'm very, very sorry if it doesn't make sense to you, but this whole series will be written down into the blog after it's finished. So I'm already writing it, I'm just not uploading it to the blog yet. It will be at the end of April. But if you want to take notes, yes, get your pen and paper ready. Hello, Angie, welcome, thank you for joining us. And Catherine says she's back. She has to say, you don't have a lot of work on this chat. Everyone is nice and polite. I am very, very happy to hear that. And yes, this group definitely rocks. I love my students. You know that. Judy says, Jeannie from On the Hook says her patterns are a recipe to follow and not an actual pattern. And that is correct. I actually own some of her patterns. And she actually, well, she gets you to measure yourself and things like that. I work the same way but different. So my patterns and her patterns are written a lot in the same way, but I don't get you to measure things or tell you how much to chain. I will tell you how to size it. It's almost the same, yes. But she gives you like a recipe to how to make that garment, and I love that about her patterns. Hello, Anita. Welcome. Thank you for joining in. You didn't miss anything. We literally just started. And hi, Jana says she has a difficult time with patterns like that, especially from the US, because they use a lot of 4-weight yarn and I use a lot of 3-weight, which will be some of the things that we talk about in this series. You guys all know, if you follow my channel for a while, then you know, and you probably heard me say it 1,000 times, you can make any pattern with any yarn, and I will teach you how to do that. Not today, because like I said, today is very, very basic beginning, and we will build on that, but it will be a part of our series, how to use any yarn for any pattern and not let it bother you. Hello, Glenda, welcome. Thank you for joining. Like I said, you're not late at all. You're just on time, actually. You just missed the beginning blabber. Please don't forget to hit the thumbs up when you come in. And hello to Marianne, the crochet declogger. Welcome. Gail is here. Hello, welcome. And Patricia, she loves this. Such a great thing to teach. Looking forward to learn more. I'm happy. The key is measurements, yes, but you don't have to have exact measurements, which is something, again, we will talk about that in a second. All right, so we're starting. So, first thing I want to talk about is how to take a pattern that's written a certain way, and without alternating too many, or without alternating the stitch count or whatever, size it to a different size. Glenda, you would love to know about the yarn sizes and using on any butcher, autocorrect, cheated you there, I think. But don't worry, like I said, we are going to talk about how to use any yarn for any pattern, just not, like I said, not today. This is the first part of our design workshop. We will last all through April, every Sunday. I'm staying on Sunday from now on, you guys. I know I had to change a few times because I had problems that are not related to YouTube. But from now on, we are back to Yarniversity schedule every Sunday. You can set yourself an alarm. It's the same time every week. Any pattern, yeah, using any yarn on any pattern, exactly. That's what we are going to learn. That, don't worry, it's part of the series, but we have to have the basic first. So, the very, very basic thing that you can do in order to take a pattern and make it smaller or larger is using a different size hook. Now that might seem trivial to you, or maybe it doesn't. Maybe you know this already and maybe you don't, but making the same pattern, the exact same pattern, using a smaller hook will make the pattern smaller, and using a larger hook will make the pattern bigger. Same way when you work on a shawl. If you will use a larger hook, you will get a more drape. If you will use a smaller hook, you will get more tight stitches. Now, that is not to say that now take a shawl pattern that's written for a 3mm hook and a fingering weight yarn and make it with a 6mm hook, because all you get is like a huge, holy, lacy kind of look to it and a lot of chains. But yes, if you have a pattern that's written for fingering weight and a 3mm hook, let's take that example because I already started with it, and you make it with a 4mm hook, 4.5mm hook, you can probably use up to 4.5 with a fingering weight, and it will still look good, but it will be more drapey. So the larger the hook, the drapier it will be. Same when you work on a sweater or a hat, for example. But let's talk sweaters, for example. If you use a larger hook, you will get a looser fit. So if it's a boxy sweater, it's quite trivial. You know, you'll use a larger hook, it will be like a little boxier. You'll use a smaller hook, it will be more fitted. But if it's actually a sweater that requires you to decrease and increase in certain places, and you sew it together in different places and so on, larger hook, looser fit. Smaller hook, tighter fit, fitted fit. Okay, that's, that's maybe crochet one-on-one, but not everyone uses that. It can be things that we know, we have it in the back of our minds, but we don't always think of using them. So sometimes when we will get a pattern, we work it up, we are on gauge, we made the pattern in the size that we chose. I don't know, I want a large, so I made the pattern in a large, and it's done, and I'm putting it on, or it's not done. Maybe I'm trying it on in the middle, and I'm trying it on and it doesn't fit right. Sometimes the immediate solution doesn't come to your head. You don't think about it, even though you know it. You know that if you use a smaller hook, it will be a little smaller, or if you use a larger hook, it will be a little looser. But at that moment, maybe you don't think about it. Maybe you don't think, oh, maybe I need a different hook. Maybe you say, oh, this pattern doesn't work. I met gauge. I worked it all the way through row, I don't know, 20, 30. All my stitches are correct. All my stitch counts are correct, but it's too tight here under the arm or whatever. So, there's something you might think of it in the beginning of the pattern when you start, if you do your gauge swatch and it's not 100% correct, but it can also happen that your gauge is correct and still it doesn't fit. That happens more than once. And in these cases, just remember, sometimes the solution can be as easy as just changing the hook size. Number 2 is using a different yarn weight. So this is not to talk about using every yarn for any pattern, because like I said, we will have a whole conversation about that another week. But sometimes the pattern, Jana mentioned it before. She said she has a problem with patterns which are written by a designer from the US, because they are mostly written for medium weight or worsted weight yarns, and she uses more decay or a different kind of yarn. Now, I'm a big believer of making any pattern with any yarn, and my favorite yarn weight, for those of you who are new here, is fingering weight. I work a lot with fingering weight. I make everything in fingering weight. Later when I'll show you samples, you will see. But sometimes the solution can be as simple as changing your yarn weight. So if a pattern is written for a medium weight 4 and a 5mm hook, and it tells you to do a size small, you need this amount of stitches. To do a size medium, you need this amount of stitches, and to do a size large, you need this amount of stitches. If you do the same amount of stitches that's written for the size large, but you use a lighter weight yarn, you will get something that's somewhere in between that medium and large. And the solution is that easy. Just use a lighter weight yarn, or use a chunkier yarn, and you will get something bigger. Of course, when you change your yarn weight, you have to change your hook size too. Don't forget that. Nobody here tried to work a sweater with, don't mess up. You always have to change the hook size. But sometimes the solution can be that simple. So the large is right, but it's not 100% right, and I try to use a larger hook, but it's still not 100% right. Sometimes the solution is just using a thicker yarn. And if you guys remember, we spoke about that a few weeks back when we spoke about reading the ball bands. We said there is no international standards for what is considered 4-weight, 3-weight, 2-weight, and so on. So many times we come across two balls of yarn. Both of them are marked as medium weight, but they are not the same thickness. So it could very well be that the person who wrote this pattern and their testers, maybe they all lived in the US, which is why I always try to get testers for my patterns who live in different places in the world, but that is again conversation for another chat. But maybe they lived in one country and all of their testers lived in the same country, and maybe they even all use the same yarn. Maybe the pattern was written for a certain kind of yarn. Let's say, I don't know, what's a medium weight for that a lot of people in the US use? Red Heart, Super Saver. Yeah. So let's say the person who wrote the pattern wrote it, and they said, I use Red Hot Super Saver in the colorway, blah, 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 blah. And their testers, they live in the same country, so they have access to the same yarn, so they also use the same yarn. So everyone did it in this, and the measurements came out right. But I live in a different country, and I try to look for, but I don't know what Red Heart Super Saver is like. So the pattern says use a medium weight 4, and I go to the store and I get a medium weight 4, which I am used to, some acrylic medium weight 4 that I'm used to working with all the time, and maybe it's not the same thickness as what this person used. And so no matter what will I do and how much will I try to reach the gauge, my end result will not be the same as the designer's. Maybe it will fit, but there's no guarantee. And if it doesn't fit, sometimes the answer is just as simple as using a larger or a thinner yarn weight. We don't think about it a lot of times while working on the project, so it's just something that you need to hold in the back of your mind. It can be as easy as changing the hook size. It can be as easy as changing the yarn weight. And it can also be a method or a means to an end. So when I get the pattern, I can intentionally use a different yarn weight in order to make it smaller or bigger, knowingly deciding that I'm going to work the medium size but in a lighter weight so that I will get something that is somewhere in between that small and medium. And sometimes it is that easy to change a pattern that's written for children's sizes to adult sizes. You know, just use the largest size of a child that's on the pattern. Maybe it's, I don't know, 10 to 11 years old. Make it with a larger hook and a bigger weight yarn, and you will sometimes get an adult small to medium. That's European small to medium. I do realize that even the sizes small, medium, large are different all the way around the world. Okay, I see that the chat moved a little, so maybe you guys had questions. I'm just gonna try to read it real quick. Do you ever change your hook size in the middle of a pattern? Yes, I do. Sometimes I even frog it and start from the beginning with a different hook. Hello, Angela. Welcome. Thank you for joining in. She says she changes her hook size as her tension may be different. And hello, Shashi Stitches. Hi, welcome. Thank you for joining in. Thank you. Kim says big twist is, for example, a worsted weight that's common in the US. Okay, so let's say the pattern was written in big twist and the tester used big twist, and I have no idea what big twist is. So I use a different medium weight acrylic yarn and I get a totally different result. That's just the way it is, which is why if you're a crochet designer, I plead you, please don't write your patterns this way. Learn to write your patterns the right way. Okay, Catherine says hello to everyone. Jana is asking, I'm sure you change your hook for different projects, but what typical size hook do you use with fingering weight yarn? Okay, so me specifically, I use between a 3 and a 4 millimeter hook, depending on the drape, like I explained before. If I want more drape in my project. If it's a shawl, I would usually gravitate towards the 4. And if it's something like a hat, which I will show you later, a hat and a dress that I made with a fingering weight yarn, and then I use a 3. Catherine says she usually uses a 3.5. So yeah, sometime between a 3 and a 4. And Catherine, yeah, she's a loose hooker. All right. So, any questions about the 2 first tips? Did they help you? Is it something maybe that changed your thinking? It was either changing the hook size and changing the yarn size. I wanted to give you an example. Hello, Julie. Welcome. Thank you for joining. So I have some things that I made, and I wanted to show you how sometimes just changing the yarn weight or the hook size can give you a different result. So this is a pattern that I tested a while back for someone, and she had sizes written. Now, again, I told you guys, I personally like to write my patterns in a way that you can size them as you like. But when I test other people's patterns, I obviously don't tell them how to write their pattern. So she had, her pattern was written with different sizes, and she would tell you for a size extra small, change this amount, for a size medium, change this amount, yeah? So I tested a pattern for her, and she asked me to test the extra small, because normally when I test patterns for other people, I tell them, you tell me what size you need, because people look for testers, and a lot of times people will want to test a size that they can later on use. So they would either test a size that fits them, or if it's a child's size, they will think, what children do I have at home and what size will fit them. So I like to give people who ask me to test for them, I tell them, you tell me what size you need, I will make it, and later on I will find what to do with it. So she asked me to test the extra small. So I tested it for her. And afterwards, I really liked the pattern, and I also really liked the yarn that I used. So I did the same thing. I just used a different size hook. And I made her extra small, but I made it with a smaller hook. And instead of being an adult extra small, it is now like a teenage size, which is what I wanted. This is a sort of like a cabled poncho. If you guys can see the cables, it's so obviously, I mean, I wear a size small sometimes. I wear a medium. It depends where I buy my clothes, but I wear a size small. So you can see when I hold it against myself, it's really, really small. So it's smaller than an extra small. It fits about like, a 15, 16-year-old will be able, depending on how tall they are, will be able to wear this poncho very nicely. And I did this because I wanted to give it as a gift to a wonderful teenager that I know lives here in the neighborhood. And it was, so she had sizes extra small to extra large on her pattern written. And I wanted to make it for a teenager, which an extra small might be a little loose on her, and I wanted it to be a little more fitted. So all I did was use a smaller hook, and I got exactly the result that I wanted. So sometimes the answer is just as easy as, changing the hook size. And you can take a pattern that has different sizes, but not the size you want, and get the size you want without having to think too much. So I think that's cool. Yeah, Catherine says she often adapts the pattern to her yarn, which is what I do too, very, very often. You like the cables? Thank you. Thank you, Jean. Yeah, so those were, the basic of the basic, sometimes just changing the hook size or changing the yarn weight is all you need to do. Now, the next thing is, looks very squishy. Thank you. Okay, so the next thing I wanted to mention is how to make a pattern. I mentioned before, if she's tall, if she's short, how to make a pattern longer or shorter. Once again, when designers design their patterns and tell you to repeat a certain amount of rows, they design it to their standards of what small, medium, large is. But we all, like I said, are different sizes. Some of us are taller, some of us are shorter. Some of us wear a size small, but are very, very tall. So we are thin and tall, like SpaghettiOs. And some of us are, you know, short and maybe wider. And some of us are somewhere in the middle. And some of us can also be wide and tall and small and short. So people come in so many different sizes that seriously, how can you tell people how many rows to work to get their sweater to sit right? Or sometimes I see patterns that say work until you get to a length of X. How do you know? How do you decide that? How do you decide that all of the people in size medium have this distance between their armpit and their waist? That's not how that works. So, what do you do in that situation? Kim says she has to lengthen almost everything, right? See, I am not a very tall person. I don't speak inches, so don't kill me, and I don't speak feet and all that. I'm 1.70 meters. How much is that in American sizes? No idea. But I am 1.70 meters. So when I go to buy clothes, a lot of times I need the size small, but when I wear the size small, it only gets up to my belly button, and I don't want to wear that kind of shirt. Like, I like my shirts go all the way to the top of my pants at least. Same with dresses. I go to buy a dress and I have to buy like a bigger size in order for it to be the length that I want and not like go too high when I sit down. Accidents have happened in the past. So when you write a pattern, a crochet pattern, how do you do it? Like, how can you size that? People have so many different sizes. So let's say we have a sweater dress pattern, and it tells us to work this and that amount of row and then start decreasing for the waist. But when we look at it, it's when I hold it against my thigh or where I want the dress to go down to, and I work this and that amount of rows, and it still does not get to where I need to decrease. So it's still, if I will decrease now, it will be too short later. The solution is very, very easy. You work more rows. So sometimes working more rows or less rows than the pattern says is what works for you, and that is allowed. It is okay. Allow yourself to add rows to the pattern or decrease rows from the pattern. The only thing you need to know in order to do that is the stitch count and the stitch repetition. And like I said, I already explained in previous Yarniversity classes how to figure out what the stitch count of a pattern is, or what the stitch count of a stitch pattern is. So if it's a pattern that repeats every 4 rows, maybe all you have to do is add 4 more rows, and then you'll have the length you need. Maybe you need more, so all you have to do is continue working more rows, but keep those multiple of 4. So always make sure that you add 4 more, 4 more, 4 more until you have the length that you need to not lose the stitch count or the stitch repetition. Let's see if you guys asked something. Mare says she is 5'11". Again, I'm sorry, that does not tell me anything. Almost 6 feet. So yeah, I too make everything longer. Okay, so that means you're tall. 39.37 inches. I'm sorry, what is that? My height? I'm not sure. Jana says I'm very tall. She is 1 meter 50. That's 4 feet 11. Okay. So, well, see, 150 centimeters. I know what that is. That's like you're about up to here when you stand next to me. My best friend in the whole world, she is 1 meter 47, and we've been friends ever since I remember myself. I've always been taller than her, and she's always used to make fun of me for being tall. Angela says she made a jumper that gave the measurements for a 5'4" model. Guess who didn't read that bit? Yeah. So now it's longer. Oh well. Yeah. All tall people, Jana, that's okay. Size don't matter. Well, height does not matter. Marianne says, many are simply afraid to venture away from what the pattern says. Exactly. And you don't have to. This is what this class is for. This class is to give you guys the confidence to stray away from the pattern, because you will look at the pattern, you will make it, you will say, hey, that's too short. But I went to Reggie's class, so I know that I am allowed to just keep going, make one more repetition of the stitch repetition and get it to the length that I want. Stray from the pattern, don't follow the rules. If you are my students, you're not allowed to follow the rules. All right. Jean, that is what I love about crochet, the flexibility. Not that way most of the time with knitting, which was my first foray into fiber arts. You prefer crochet. Yeah, well, you can do that with knitting too, but it is a little bit more complicated. And yeah, knitting world is a bit more, in German we say streng, than the crochet world. 6 feet is 183 centimeters, so 1.83 meters. Oh, okay. So see, now I know. So 6 feet is like, so someone said before that they are 6 feet, so they are taller than me. All right. What if a garment has a waistline? That is a wonderful question. So what if a garment has a waistline? Is your question, what if a garment has a waistline? How do I know how to shape it so that it's right? Or is your question, what if a garment has a waistline? How do I continue work until I get to the waistline? So just to write your question more specific, and I will answer it because I know I had that problem too. It's harder to adjust knitting. It's possible, but harder. Exactly. Creativity has no rules. Guten Tag, David. Herzlich willkommen. All right. So, like I said, do not follow the rules. Figure out what the stitch count is. How many stitches in a row. How many stitches in the stitch repetition along the row, and how many rows for a full repetition. And if you need to work longer, just add another. All you have to remember is to add the correct number to follow the stitch pattern. So if you need to make something longer and the stitch repetition is a 5-row repetition, you cannot add just one more row. You have to repeat the entire repetition to go to the next part of the pattern. Or if the next part of the pattern says repeat these rows 3 times and then repeat row 1 once more. So you gotta remember to do that. So if you can add a whole more repetition of the pattern, but then you still have to work that one more row 1 in order to move to the next part of the pattern. But do not be afraid to add more rows. And in the same way, you can also work less rows. So if you need something to be shorter, again, just remember to decrease the number of rows, you have to know how many rows are the repetition of the pattern. If it's like a cable pattern that repeats itself every 6 rows, then you cannot decrease just 3. You have to decrease a whole block of 6 rows. Same with add a whole block of 6 rows, okay? But as long as you remember that, you can make anything you want longer or shorter. Sleeves, the bottom of, if it's a dress, you can make it a maxi dress. If you have a pattern for a mini dress, you can make it a midi, you can make it a maxi. Other way around also works. If you have a maxi dress, you can make it any length you want. If you have a pattern for a sweater, but you like the pattern of the sweater, but you want to make it longer and you want to make it like a sweater dress, all you have to do is add the right amount of rows, but just don't forget how many rows are the repetition. Angela says, just try it, and if it doesn't look right, frog it and add. Better to crochet by the force than have an item doesn't fit. That's correct. Dir geht's gut, David. Ich freue mich, das zu hören. Mir geht's auch gut. Und Catherine ist gerade im Abendessen, oder Catherine? Don't follow the rules, so we can throw out the gauge. Jana? Okay, Jana, you're a member of my channel, so you know me. We've spoken in our members chat behind everyone's back as well. So you know, I don't gauge. Nothing. I don't do gauge. So yeah. I am not a fan of gauge. I don't encourage people who write patterns to use gauge. And yeah, the way to not use gauge is to know what we're talking about today. And then you don't need the gauge. David says, sizing has been a difficulty for me. It is complicated by the fact that I always think I need something larger than I do because I used to be so much heavier. Well, that is, body image is a whole other a problem of sizing things. If you think you need a certain size and then you actually need a different size. But I hope that at least, the information of how to size things differently will help you maybe change a pattern and maybe work the wrong size. But figuring out what size from what the pattern says you need is hard, especially before, you look at the pattern and it says if you make a size small, medium, or large, and then you say, wait, well, how do I know which one I need? And sometimes we all gravitate towards a certain size and then it's actually not the size that we need, right? So that is why I tell all of my designers, don't write your pattern that way. Write it in a way that allows the user to size it to their own need. Freue sich, mein Deutschsprache zu proben. Ja. No, proben is not the right word there. But because I'm speaking English on my chat, it's very hard for me now to think in German. Where are all my German friends? Auszuprobieren. Exactly. Thank you, Mayor. No. Thank you, Biene. See, I'm confusing the people already. Whoa. Yes, exactly. Those gauge drive me nuts. They drive me nuts too. I agree. Me neither. Never do it, says Patricia. Though I was being a rebel, apparently not. No. We don't like gauge here. In Yarniversity, we are not gauge fans. Speaking German is easier than writing it. That is correct, Catherine. Who knows why they put all these letters in their words? Oh my god. Jamie says she doesn't gauge either. Never have, never will. Oh, and your 4'11" is in height. You're almost the shortest one of the class. You know what that means, Jamie? It means when we have a class picture, she gets to stand in the front. I always stood in the back in every single picture. Whenever I make for my size, I always follow a size small, but use a larger hook. So you're someone in between small, medium, and large, so you never do gauge. Exactly, Liz. Exactly. That's exactly what we were just saying, right? Follow the certain size, so follow the medium size, use a smaller hook, you get something in between. Exactly. David said, als Student konnte ich viel besser Deutsch, aber jetzt... Yeah. Age would do that. No, it's actually it's more like when you don't talk a certain language that you learn daily. I used to speak Spanish. I don't anymore. I understand what other people do, but I can't speak it myself anymore. Since the last time I spoke it was 2008. So yeah, and ever since, I kind of lost it. I'm still trilingual. I think that's cool. Smedium. Exactly. You're smedium. Always the smallest and always on the front row. Well, Jana, being small has its perks. Jamie says she's always placed front and center in class photographs. She's 4'8". See? Oh, I was always in the back. And I was a basketball player and I was a center. So I was, yeah, okay. So next, we spoke about working more rows or working less rows, and don't be afraid to work more rows, less rows, right? And one more topic that we're going to talk about before we're going to mention what's today giveaway is use the stitch multiple to adjust the stitch count. Okay, so going back to our crochet math class, I know you guys, some of you did not enjoy that. Some of you said repeatedly that you do not like math. But going back to our crochet math class, we learned how to calculate the stitch multiple. So once I have the stitch multiple, I can size things differently. Wait, there's a lot of chat going on in the chat. Am I missing questions? David spent time in Germany and Austria. Wonderful. Where were you? Well, yeah, answer me in the chat. I will read it later after I finish talking. Jean says the reason Rezi is wonderful is because he teaches us to trust our visual and say, oh, thank you. Yes, I try. Julie is also on the front row. And Liz is also on the front. So who's with me in the back row? No one? I'm alone in the back row. Angela says she was tall but stick thin, so got lost in the back, so they would make me sit on a chair in the front row. That's funny. Yeah, right? Jamie's like, I'm teaching a class of Smurfs. You have to practice language. French is my mother tongue, but I rarely speak it anymore, so I have to think about it. Yeah, exactly. I mean, whenever I call my mom, it takes me a few minutes to go back to Hebrew. So, Smedium, yeah, that's cool. I'm gonna use that too. Thank you, David. When you get to 80 years. All right, guys. So, oh yes. So Bina is with me in the back row. She's 1.83 meters. She's in it. See, she's taller than me. My German friend. Deutschland. David says in his pattern, he always advises to start with a garment that fits and measure the heck out of it. That's a good advice too. Mary's also with us on the back row. And Debbie's with me, and Catherine. Okay, so we have enough to fill up the back row as well. I'm happy. All right, so I was talking about figuring out the stitch multiple. Again, I'm not going to explain how to figure out the stitch multiple, but I do have something to say about how to use the stitch multiple and the stitch count to adjust a pattern. So once again, I'm going to show you something that I worked on for a different designer. That designer designed. It's actually something that I worked on lately, so some of you probably have seen it on Instagram, and it was also Imogen was wearing it for quite a long time. So it's this this top. It's made in the alpine stitch, and for those of you who never worked the alpine stitch is like a 4-row repeat, and you have to work it on an uneven on an even number of stitches. So in every round, you have to have an even number of stitches, and in the length, the row count needs to be some kind of multiple of 4 in order for the pattern to work. Now, this specific pattern, the way it was written, and I will not give out the pattern because it's a paid pattern. You can find it at Ravelry, and if you are interested in this pattern, then on my Instagram, I linked the designer and all of her details back when I showed when this was finished. But I do want to talk about the way this garment was constructed, because a lot of garments are constructed this way, and this is where figuring out the stitch multiple comes into play in order to make something bigger or smaller. So the way this pattern is constructed, this is a top-down pattern, or what we call raglan. So raglan patterns are worked in a way that you chain, or you make your base row here at the neck, and then you work rows of increases until you get to the point where you need to insert the armholes. And then you fold your work in half and connect the front and the back with chains on the side in order to reach this this space under the arm. And then you just continue working in rounds until you have the length that you want. So this is just, the definition of what raglan is. Raglan is top down, one piece, no sew. If you want, you can add the sleeves later, but this specific top is without sleeves. Now, the designer of this pattern, the way she wrote the pattern was, she said, for size small, chain this amount of chains and then work this amount of rows. She gave you the how to increase for the yoke, and then she said, for the small size, work the yoke for, I don't know, this amount of rows. For medium size, work this amount of rows. For large, this amount, and so on. Now, we spoke before in the beginning, and we said people come in different sizes. So what if I wear a size small, but I have more boobage than other people, or maybe I wear a size large and I am a little heavier in the cleavage area. So the amount of rows that she set for her patterns might not be the right ones for me. Maybe I will work this amount of rows and it will still not sit right above my chest in order for it to be the time to insert the armholes. So what do I do when I get this kind of pattern? This kind of pattern that has a top-down yoke that requires me to increase every row, or sometimes maybe even every other row. But I did the numbers of repeats that the pattern says, but when I put it on me, it's still not the time for the armpits. It still only gets up to here, or maybe, I don't know, maybe it's too long. Maybe I need it shorter. And this is where figuring out the stitch repetition comes to play. So, as I've said before, we know, or when I look at the pattern, I will know what the stitch multiple is. How many stitches, do I need an even or an uneven number of stitches per row, and how many? Sometimes I need a multiple of 7. Sometimes I need a multiple of 10, right? So with this specific pattern, all that you need to know is that all around, in the round, you have a even number of stitches, and the row count is 4. So the pattern repeats itself every 4 rows. So let's say I work the yoke up to here, like the pattern said, but it still doesn't fit me and I need it longer. All I have to do is continue working the yoke the same way I did until now, increase the same way. I already know how because I worked all these rows, so I know how the increase work. I just continue increasing until I get it the size I need. Or if I need it smaller, I work less rows. I just have to decrease 4. I cannot just decrease 2 because then the pattern wouldn't work because it's a 4-row repeat. So, was that clear? Was that helpful? Let me know in the chat, and I'm going to try to read comments that were written while I was explaining this. Jean says that is a striking color. That yarn is a Stylecraft yarn that I got as a gift from Sabrina Milieu. She sent it to me for my birthday, and I loved it. And I had exactly the right amount of balls of it that I needed in order to make that, which was very good because otherwise where would I buy it? Mare says she also always use a piece she loves to compare with something she's making. Like I said, it's a very good way to size things, especially if you're making something for someone and you can't measure it on them every other day. Having a piece of their clothing or a piece of clothing in the size that they normally wear is very, very helpful. And you can always compare what you're making to what you have. Joyce says, David, while I don't design, I do use that technique to adjust patterns I'm working on. So the technique of comparing with a piece of clothing. David says he likes that piece. I guess what I was showing, you can imagine how to fake it. I guess you meant how to make it. Linda, hello. Thank you for joining in. Hi, welcome. And hello, Renee. Hi, Linda. Hi, Linda. Hello, Jamie. Thank you for lurking. Don't forget to hit the thumbs up, everyone, when you come in. Okay, David says, I have a similar issue. I'm not shaped like a typical man because of my obesity history and current health issues. That makes me sort of bloated. So, doesn't it have that exactly why it helps to know how to, if you work on a pattern that's already written and you know how to figure out, or a lot of patterns will tell you, we are working the lemon peel stitch. It's worked this way. You know, and then all you have to do is continue working it this way until you have the right length or the right size, or when you measure, you put the yoke over your head and you see, is it time to insert the armholes yet or not? Even sometimes you can put it on yourself and it will be the time to insert the armholes, but maybe this specific top, I want it to go all the way down to here. I want it to be looser around here. So I can continue increasing my yoke and only insert my armpits here and not here. I can do that because I'm the one making it. Who's going to tell me not to? Jean says, speaking is fantastic designers. Speaking of fantastic designers, hi, Linda. Yes, Linda is a wonderful designer. All right, you guys say it was clear, and David says he adores Sabrina. Me too. She's a wonderful, wonderful lady. Hello, Karen. Thank you for joining in. All right, so up until now, we said using a different hook size, using different yarn weight, working more or less rows, and figuring out the stitch multiple in order to size something up or down. Is anything of what I was talking about up until now, the first 4 points that I mentioned, not clear? Do you have questions about any of these? Write them in the chat right now. I'm going to take a sip of wine because I can. And while I wait for you guys to respond in the chat, I will show you today's giveaway. So, as always, or if you're new here, I'm going to explain. So once this live stream is over, when, after I said goodbye and we all went our separate ways, this video goes into replay, which means you can watch it again on the channel. Now, you come back to the video and you comment down below. You leave a comment down below in the comment section of this video, and that will enter you into the giveaway. And next week on Yarniversity, not on Thursday on my big 3K celebration, on next week's Yarniversity, on Sundays live, I'm going to pull the winner using the YouTube random comment picker from the comments underneath the video. So don't comment right now because it will go in the chat if you're watching this live. If you're watching it on replay, you can already comment down below. You can comment whatever you want as long as it has to do with the class that we had today. Don't just comment hi Reggie or I was watching. Just comment something that has to do with the class. If your comment does not have anything to do with today's lesson, it will not count. Even if your name will come up, I will have to choose a different winner. And we do that every week on Yarniversity. So pretty much every week, once the video goes into replay, I will ask something, or I will tell you comment whatever you want or whatever. I will tell you what to comment in the comment section below, and you come back to the video and comment down below, and that enters you into next week's giveaway. So for today, or the giveaway that the winner which will be picked next Sunday will receive this. So first of all, I have this set of minis. They are 6 minis of 10 grams, 100% cotton. So there are 6 minis, each of them is 10 grams, and they are all 100% cotton in these wonderful colors. So that's the yarn. And to go along with it, we have this beautiful animal pin from Lana Boo. If you guys seen me maybe unboxing some stuff I got from her, it says things to do, buy yarn, squish yarn, repeat 1 and 2. So that's the animal pin that will go together with the yarn. And you will also get a wonderful hand cream. This is Nivea hand cream. And it is almond concentrate. How do you say that in English? How do you say? Come on, help me here with English. Almond. All right. So that is the prize that you can win if you come back to the video once it goes into replay, and comment down below anything that has to do with today's class, and next week we will choose the winner for that. All right, David says he had sleeve issues with a sweater that would not dye but someone sent me some beautiful yarn, and I am now ready to try another sample with pattern modifications. Wonderful. I would love to see how that turns out. Sometimes changing the yarn on a project will make for a whole different experience with that project. Jean says it was very clear. Thank you. I'm very, very happy. Okay, Catherine says it does make complete sense. The only problem is making garments for someone else. It's not always possible to have the measurements. In that case, it can be handy to have a standard size. Right. However, again, like I said before, and like David mentioned, it can be very helpful if you have a piece of their clothing, if you don't have access to measuring them, if you have a piece of their clothing, or if you ask them what size they normally wear and get a piece of clothing that is that size. That puts you in a complicated position because, like we said, even clothing that you get in the store sometimes fit people differently, and even different kind of brand names will have different kinds of sizes. So a medium from this brand will not be the same as a medium from that brand. But all in all, yeah, it does help if you have something to compare it to. It doesn't always work, but when it is possible, I recommend doing that. I think sizing to person and not sizing to standard size is the right way to design clothing. But again, that is my opinion. Not everybody has to agree with me, and you can still be here if you don't agree with me. I would still love you. When is your replay put up? I don't put it up. It's as soon as the live chat is finished, YouTube puts it into replay. It doesn't necessarily appears right away on your feed, but if you come back the next day to the channel, you will already see the video. It's not something that I do. As soon as I press stop streaming, YouTube starts uploading the video, and then as long as it takes it to upload. I'm glad you guys like the yarn. Ganz toll. Exactly, right after the live. David says he's been doing a lot of clergy stoles lately. The long skinny things that wear with their vestments. Okay. Referenced a pattern to get an idea of dimension. It began, first measure your priest. Oh, that's a good one. That's very entertaining. I think I would find it very cool if I had a pattern like that. Almond extract. Yes, thank you, Christy. Thank you. Almond oil works too. Almond butter could also be. You may all be correct, but I can tell you it's a wonderful hand cream. If you guys never had Nivea cream. We call it Nivea. But I know that Americans read things differently. Jana says she thinks sizing to a person's body is definitely the way to go. It's the perk of sewing clothes to yourself as well. Yes, I agree. Hello, Patrice. Welcome. So to everyone who's just stepping in or came in late, missed the beginning, whatever, welcome. Thank you for being here today. Thank you for joining. Please don't forget to hit the like button when you enter the room. If you're not yet subscribed to the channel, I would very much appreciate it if you consider subscribing. Some administrative things that I said at the beginning of the live stream is that my brand new 2021 hand-dyed yarn advent calendar went on the Etsy shop this week. It is now, the listing is now live. You can now see it on Etsy. And if you are viewers of my channel, down in the description box below this video, there is a code for 15% off anything of my Etsy store. You can use that code for whatever you want, and you can use it also as many times as you want. So it's, even if you use it once, it's still valid. And if you are members of my channel, you have your special members code in your members section, and that will give you 20% off of everything in the store. So don't forget to use that when you get anything from the Etsy shop. I also said that we hit 3,000 subscribers this morning, and I was very, very happy. And in celebration of that, on Thursday, we're gonna have a live stream with a lot of prizes. It's not going to be one of my usual game shows with the trivia questions. It's going to be something different, but I'll still be giving away a whole bunch of prizes. And if any of you is interested in donating prizes to that game show, my email is in the description box below this video. Just email me. You can donate it, whatever you want. If it's a pattern, if it's something you made, if it's a tool, if it's... Tell me what you want to donate. We will work it out. You don't have to, but if you want to, there are sometimes makers like donating prizes. I do have a lot of prizes that I have prepared myself for the game, for the party, so it will be a lot of fun. And join me on Thursday. Link to that is already in the description box below the video. So if you go to the description box of this video right now, you will see a link to the live stream that will be on Thursday, and you can set yourself a reminder. And I already posted it to the Facebook group, so if you're on the Facebook group, it's there as well. Blessed week to you too, Patrice. You now have 3 of those patterns, David. Wow. 3 that you wrote, or 3 that you made. Americans think differently. Rarely better, but always differently. Thank you, Jean. Some latte cakes leftovers. You were thinking of experimenting with them. I have never had a latte cake. I have no idea what those are like. Thank you, Angela. Yes, Mayor, thank you. You are always so kind donating to my game shows. I really appreciate it. And everyone who ever won your earrings love them so much. So it's a wonderful present. Thank you. Thank you very much. Um, thank you, Karen. Um, oh, thank you, Shashi. Hey, guys, if you guys don't know Shashi Stitches, you need to go and check out her YouTube channel. She has a YouTube channel. Go visit her on her channel. You know, tell her I sent you. She just did a video of her craft show stall, and she showed like how she set up her craft stall and everything. I've never been to a craft fair, not as a visitor of a craft fair, because we don't really have that much things like that around where I live. They are more common in bigger cities, but not where I live. And I also never took part in a craft fair, as much as I would really love to do that one day. So it was very interesting for me to see. You too, Kevin. Thank you. I appreciate you, girls. Latte cakes are furry and annoying, says David. In a nutshell. Well, now, David, I'm not sure now I want to try them. That's one problem solved. Hey, Bev. Thank you for joining. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it. Cheers to me and cheers to all of us. Where are all my members with their cheers emoji? Cheers to all of you for 3K subscribers of the channel. Students of Yarniversity. You have a matching hat and scarf pattern you could share. Oh, that would be lovely, David. I would love that. All right, so everyone who interested in donating, you guys know where to find me. Some of you have already contacted me on Instagram in the past, and you guys can write me on my email that's in the description box below. All right, so yes, here are all my members. Whoa. Okay, there's a delay between when I say things and when things show up in the chat. So that's normal. But now I see all your ching ching ching. Bye, Karen. You have to go. Thank you very much for being here. Thank you. Okay, so I sort of repeated all the administrative things that I said in the beginning, and I think I answered all the questions you have, so we can move on. So, next point. So the next point I wanted to talk to you guys about is something that maybe some of you already do, maybe some of you don't, but I personally think it's a very good tip. So the tip is to use chainless foundation rows. Maybe some of you already know this technique, maybe some of you don't. If you're a beginner and you don't know this technique, or if you're not a beginner and you don't know this technique yet, I very, very much recommend learning how to do the, foundation, single crochet, foundation, half double crochet, foundation, double crochet, all of those. I very, very much recommend learning how to do them. Now, when I do a tutorial, because all of my tutorials and all of my patterns are written and geared towards all levels of crocheters, then I always start my patterns with chain this or that amount, or I start my tutorial with chain this and that amount, and then single crochet or double crochet or whatever the pattern requires. However, when I make the garment myself, I use the chainless foundation rows. The reason I do that, and the reason why I think you guys should learn to do that, and why you should learn to do it, and also how to use it to your advantage, is when you start a pattern with a foundation single crochet or foundation half double crochet, whatever, it gives the garment more flexibility. So chainless foundation rows are more stretchy. It gives the item, whatever you're making, more stretch. So if it's a top-down top, like the one that I was showing, for example, if it's a if it's a raglan top, here is where your head will go in. And if this part is stretchy or flexible, it will be easier to put your head through there because the garment has stretch, So foundation single crochet, double crochet, and so on are very useful in that sense. They are also very useful when you make baby items, children's items, when you make a sweater or whatever pattern that starts from the waist up. Also, it will give you so much more flexibility. The garment that you're making will be that much more comfortable because there's not this like chain row there that sort of like make it not stiff, but you cannot stretch it more than the chain stretches. Try to like just make a chain, I don't know, chain 20, and then try to take that chain of 20 and just stretch it. At some point, you would not be able to stretch it anymore. And that is as much flexibility as you will have in your garment if you begin it with a chain row. Now make a foundation double crochet in the same length and stretch that and see the difference. And then you'll understand how important that is. Well, see, David says he just posted a 60-second tutorial of foundation single crochet and foundation double crochet. So those of you who don't know how to do that, go check out David's tutorial. He just posted one. 60 seconds is a wonderful time for that kind of video. So, you know, learn how to do that. It will make your designs that much better. Right? Yeah, chainless foundation is so much better. Patricia says she always uses foundation rows. Was one of the first things she learned after making something, and it had to give with a chain. It had no give with the chain. This and magic circle is something you always use. Exactly. Those are kind of things that not everyone knows how to do, not everyone puts time into learning how to do, but because a lot of patterns are written like chain this amount and then single crochet back, which is, like I said, I write my patterns that way too because not many people do single crochet rows, foundation rows or whatever. And if you write for beginners who don't know how to do it, you don't want to have something written in the pattern that they might not know what to do, which will make them stray away from that pattern. But when you get a pattern and the pattern say chain 20, and then the next row says single crochet in each chain 19 stitches, you can just start with a foundation row of 19 single crochets. It's the same, will give you the same end result, only it will be more flexible. Unapologetically Mocha is also a big fan of chainless foundation, and Bina has to go. Thank you for being here. Thank you, and have a wonderful dinner. I very much appreciate it, my friend from Munich. And yeah, good appetit. Mare says positive ease is better with chainless foundation stitch. Yes, exactly, kind of like ribbing. Jean says very helpful info. Yes, if you start your row with a chain and then single crochet back into that, as opposed to single crochet foundation row, it will have a totally different flexibility in the garment. You don't know that yet, Marianne? Well, I think it's something to put on your like to learn list for yourself. You don't have to. It's just like a tip from me on how to adjust patterns to your own needs, because a lot of times you will chain that foundation chain and it will be just a little less than what you need. But if you make it in a foundation double crochet, it will have just the right give for it to be what you need. Sometimes it's the difference in the pattern is as easy as that. Liz just recently learned how to do chainless foundation stitch. It took her some time, but she learned it. That's wonderful. I'm very happy to hear that. Bev is still building her chainless foundation skills. Some days it looks great, other days it's clear I don't know what I'm doing. That's okay. That's, you know, everything takes practice. David, more often, even when the pattern does not specify to start with a row of single crochet, you start with a row of single. Yeah, exactly. I do that too. It just takes practice. And it helps a lot, Debbie. I agree. Do you ever go a hook size on the foundation row? Write it again. I love Munich too. I used to live there. It's a beautiful city. It's actually the first city I lived in when I moved to Germany. Oh, do I ever go up a hook size when I do the foundation row? Not unless there's a specific reason for me to do it. Hello, Wanda. Thank you for joining. Welcome in. Gail says she practiced chainless foundation when she makes dishcloths. That's a wonderful way to practice it. Wonderful, wonderful way. All right. So, 1 second. Okay. Wow. There are 53 people in here. Oh my God. Thank you all for being here. I very much appreciate it. Please don't forget to hit the thumbs up. It's that little like-shaped button underneath the screen. It helps me a lot as a creator. And in general, when you watch other YouTubers' videos, if you appreciate their content and their videos are interesting to you and you like them, then hit that like button. It helps YouTubers a lot. It's something that you can do that does not cost you any money, and it helps us as content creators very, very much. Okay, so foundation, single crochet, double crochet, triple crochet, and so on. Wonderful idea to practice it with dishcloths or any other thing. Any pattern that you have that begins with a row of single or double crochet can be substituted for that, and it will make your garments that much flexible. David says, often when I do a chain to start, I use a hook 1 or 2 sizes larger than the body of the work in order to avoid curling or other issues. That's a good tip too. I mean, if you do use the chain and then work into it, it is a good idea to make the initial chain with a larger hook. Even if your chainless foundation chain is wonky, the next row tends to fix it. Yeah, I agree. I'm very happy. Knitting Turnpike, can you tell me your name? That will help me a lot. You keep on using chains? No, Chalice. Practice makes perfect. All right, so like I said, foundation rows instead of chain rows helps a lot. It gives your garment that much more ease, flexibility to it. It makes it more user-friendly in many ways. Okay, so next thing we are going to talk about is did I miss something? Who's Gina? Is Gina Knitting Turnpike? Is that her name? Okay, everyone's saying hi to everyone. All right, I missed something. So, next I want to talk about increase and decreases of the stitch length. So, we were talking before about making a pattern bigger or smaller, longer or shorter by adding more rows or adding another repetition of the pattern, and so on. Oh, okay, so Gina is Knitting Turnpike. Thank you very much for that. So, you walked into the kitchen. All right, so Gina is your name. Welcome, Gina. Now I know. Okay, so sometimes we don't need that much more length. Or sometimes we don't want to completely mess up the pattern because it's not like a repetition pattern. So sometimes it's not a 6-row repeat that we repeat again and again and again and again. It's every row is something completely different. And so I cannot really add more rows or not do some rows to make it shorter or longer, because then it will mess up the whole pattern. In that case, you can change the length of a row. So a row of single crochet will be this long, a row of double crochet will be this long, a row of triple crochet would be this long, and so on. So sometimes substituting one stitch to another stitch is what will make this change in length that you need. So if you need a pattern to be shorter, you can substitute your double crochets to single crochets, for example. Or if you need your pattern to be longer, you can do the other way around. So turn single crochets into double crochets into triple crochets, and so on. Will help you with changing the length without changing the pattern. So that's another tip. I hope that works. Oh my God, Ursula, thank you very much. I got a super chat. Cheers to you, Ursula. You got a cheers, and I hope you get a cheers from everyone in the chat. When Ursula gets a super chat on her live stream, we dance because it is a cool music. So Ursula, you get the dance too. All right, that was enough. Better late than never. Apologies for being late. Hi, Ursula. I appreciate you being here. Even if you come late, I always appreciate you. So thank you for coming. Unapologetically, Mocha is Kim. I actually knew that. Yeah, exactly what she said. I knew that she is Kim. I mean, I sent you a few times, a few things in the past, so I know your name is Kim. But since we have another Kim here in the chat, then for me it is easier to distinguish when I do that this way. It might not help people in the chat, so I'm sorry. And if you prefer that I will call you Kim, I will. Mocha is actually easier for me than unapologetically Mocha. So tell me what you prefer and I will use that. Judy says she likes to use extended stitches. For example, you might use the extended single crochet instead of a single crochet. Yeah, those work too. Although they don't make the stitch that much longer. They give like a little bit more. So that's an option too. Actually, extended stitches, so extended double crochet and extended triple crochet, they work very well in shawls. They give more drape to the shawl. So when you use the extended stitch, you will get like a more drapey look. But what I was talking about is substituting the entire stitch in order to add the length that you need in case that you have a pattern that does not follow like a 6-row repeat. Let's say I have a pattern that every single row is something else, but it's still too short or too long. I can, whenever I have a row of, I don't know, single crochets, double crochets, or a row that has single crochet, double crochet, single crochet, double crochet, if I do it a double crochet, triple crochet, for example, it will be just a little bit longer. Ursula is on my phone. Her nails are too long. Oh, you have the same problem that Granny B does today. David, if you ever get monetized, you need to decide on really good music to celebrate super chats. You adore the extended half double crochet, David? Mocha is fine. All right, then. Mocha it is. I will remember that from now on. Hello, Lashira. Welcome. Thank you for joining in. There's always another Kim in the chat. I never had that problem. Yeah. Even as a child, I have never, people will always tell me, I know someone with that name, or my friend's name is, I never met anyone with the same name as I. It didn't happen. Julie says she's not a fan of triple. Use the extended double crochet, which is taller than double crochet. Yeah, it is. It is just a, so that's another way in which you can use to alter the size or the length of a certain pattern, and that works with any pattern. Like I said, I'm gonna continue saying it all through today's chat. Even if you follow a pattern, you have a written pattern, even if you paid for that pattern, there is no rule that says that you have to follow it to the letter and work it exactly the way it's written. If it doesn't work for you, if you need to alter it in any way, this is what we're here for, to learn how to do it, so that the next time you come across something like that, you will say, you know what? But I know what to do because I've been to Yarniversity and I have the solution. So don't be afraid and just do it, and you'll be so that much more happier with your finished product because you altered it to fit your needs and didn't succumb to the pattern. All right. Jana says she also has a pretty unusual name and never came across someone with the same name. Everyone knows a David. Well, yeah, that's the cost of, being named after the biggest king ever. Kim's, Debbie's, and Tammy's galore. I think that made me laugh more than it should have. So Mocha says she uses half double crochet for everything. Cannot pay me to use a single crochet. Yeah, single crochet is like too slow, right? It's like it takes forever to make something in single crochet. Okay, so we talked about increasing and decreasing the stitch length by, substituting with a longer or a shorter stitch. Now, I am going to tell you another little tip. How to turn any hat pattern that you have into a messy bun hat. Or how to turn any hat pattern that you want into a cowl. So, we were talking before about, and maybe you remember that because I said it a lot, any pattern that you want can be made with any yarn that you want. And you are allowed to use any yarn you want to make hats. You don't have to use medium weight or, worsted weight or chunky weight to make hats. It is allowed to make hats in fingering weight yarn, which is what I did. So this is my bedrock beanie, and you can find this pattern on my Etsy shop, and it is made, or I made mine, with fingering weight yarn. But if you go on my Etsy shop and get the pattern, you will see that the pattern is designed in a way that you can substitute to whatever yarn you want. You can use any weight yarn you want to make this hat, and it will all be explained in the pattern how to size it right. Now, let's say I have this hat pattern, but I don't want it to be a beanie. I want it to be a messy bun hat. So I want here and the top, I don't want it to be crinched all together. I want an open space. What do you do? Anyone have any idea? Yeah, did they ever call him King Dave? I don't know. I'll ask them. Angela, your name confuses you. Other Angela, Angie, Angel, and Ange are in chats. That's why you're like Poppy. All right. Find it fun using different stitches together for a pattern, depending on the pattern, of course. I'm very happy that you feel that way, Doris. Thank you. You wish you could wear. I don't normally wear hat. Thank you, Lashira. Yeah, they didn't live to tell about it. The regenerate crochet. What? Started from the bottom up. Yeah. Don't close it at the top, right? Is it a top down head or bottom? This one is a bottom up. But I will explain both. Yes, I don't like rules. Mocha, I'm not a fan of rules. You've seen great opera singers say that the expressions of wonder they see when they tell students in master classes that they are allowed to think for themselves is priceless, right? Right? You're all allowed to think for yourself. Crochet around the, so Angela says, if you crochet around the hair tie using a second row of stitch count for a messy bun. That is a good idea. But okay, so turn any hat pattern into a messy bun pattern. If it's a top-down hat, so if it's one that starts here and goes down, very similar to what Angela said, you can either, crochet around a hair tie the number of stitches that you have in the second or third row, depending on how large you want your opening up there to be, and then start from the third or fourth row. In the same way, you can do a foundation row, remember? Don't chain, use a foundation row because it gives more stretch and it will be easier to put it up on your messy bun. So foundation row double crochet the same number of stitches that you need for your third or fourth row, again depending on how big you want the opening on top to be, and then start from that row and continue working the pattern. How do you do it with a pattern that's worked from the bottom up? Very similar. You just work it all the way up to the row where the opening is the size you want it to be, and you stop there. It's very, very easy, and you are allowed to do it with any pattern. Even if it's a hat pattern that's not a messy bun pattern, you are allowed to alter it. If there is a really cool hat pattern that you like, and you want to make it as a messy bun, either for yourself or because you're making hats for a craft fair and you want different options, just, start it at row 3 and work it from there, down or up. It's the same thing. Now, let's take this hat pattern, for example, and say, wait, but I don't want it in a, or I have this hat pattern, it's really cool. I want to make a cowl to match it, but this hat pattern does not come with a cowl pattern to match. What do I do? Well, that is very, very simple. So you make a foundation row of the width that you want your cowl to be. I happen to have a cowl here. I like my cowls to be kind of like snug around the neck, but if you like it longer, it's your choice. You're the designer of the things that you make, right? So you do a foundation row, the length that you want it to be, and all you have to know is the stitch multiply. Remember, we were talking about that before. So if I know the stitch multiply for the hat, let's say this is a stitch multiply of 4, so I need to have a multiple of 4, overall stitches multiple of 4. I do a foundation, double crochet, single crochet, whatever I want, that is a multiple of 4, and then I work my cowl in the same stitch repetition of the hat without the band, right? So this is the stitch this is the stitch pattern of the hat, these rows. I just repeat these rows from the hat pattern until I have the width of the cowl that I want. And then I finish it on top the same way I started it at the bottom. And now I have a matching cowl to go with my hat. So I can turn any hat pattern to a cowl pattern. And in the same way, I can turn any cowl pattern into a hat pattern. I hope that helped you guys. Mare says when she loses at Yarn Chicken, her hat becomes a messy bun hat. David is having a really great time, but have to leave to see an online performance at the top of the hour. Ooh. Well, thank you for being here, David. Auf Wiedersehen. I hope I'll see you next week at Yarniversity and around the YouTube halls. Thank you for being here. And everyone, if you're not yet subscribed to David, go check it out. He said he has a wonderful tutorial for how to make foundation single crochet and double crochet. So check it out. It will help you. Mocha says she loves breaking the rules. She will learn the rules, but only so she knows how to break them. So here's a question for you guys. Who plays Munchkin? I love Munchkin. You know why? Because in the rules of the game Munchkin, it says you are allowed to cheat as long as other people don't realize it. My favorite game of all times. Bye, King David. Hey, Tammy, welcome. Thank you for joining. Cheers to Tammy. Cheers, Tammy. You're listening in the corner. Have fun in the corner. Great. I'm glad you all like it. So, yes. So now any hat pattern that you want, you can turn into a cowl. And in the same way, any cowl pattern that you have, you can turn into a hat. How? Very easy. Make your band. And all you have to make sure is that your band, the rows, the number of rows that you work for your band is the same so that you can still work your stitch multiple, yeah? And then you work your stitch multiple. So you work it the same way that you work the cowl. I don't know, 3 rows of blah, 4 rows of whatever. And when you get to the point where your hat is the height that you want it to be, so it covers all the way up to your crown, you thread the rest of your yarn through the top stitches, you pull it tight to close the top, knot it off. You don't even have to decrease for the crown, and voila. All right, I hope that information was helpful for you guys. Anita never played Munchkin, but there is a character version of Monopoly her niece and nephew have. What is it called? What you doing in the corner, Tammy? Have you been naughty again? Oh, she's naughty all the time. Your husband George plays Monopoly the same way as I play. You're cheating game. So he, as long as no one notices, you know, why not? You guys, what you guys? Oh, and if you are viewers of my channel, you all know me. You know I'm a very mean, naughty person. So nobody take it personally. All right, Tammy. Yeah, lurk. I love lurkers. I welcome lurkers. Okay, so if you're just tuning in or you joined us late or I don't know, just hit the like button when you come in the door. If you're not yet subscribed to the channel, please don't forget subscribing. Next or this coming week on Thursday, we're gonna have a big 3K celebration. I hope to see you all there. We're gonna have some wonderful, wonderful prizes. And if anyone here is interested in donating a prize to that party, then, you know, drop me an email or write me on Facebook or on Instagram. Send me a pigeon. All right. So next we're gonna talk about how to turn any shawl pattern into a poncho. So this is something that I also spoke, I mean, Ursula and I discussed it this week because she is testing my Asgard shawl. This is my new shawl design. For those of you who were watching Ursula on Friday last week, I started this on her live, and the women that were with me on the panel, so Barb from Whisper Crochet, Linda, who is here with us, and Ursula, all asked to test it for me once the pattern is ready. So I sent them the pattern this week for testing, and the pattern testing is now completed, and this pattern will be on the Etsy shop this coming week. But as we were discussing it, Ursula said that she thinks it will look beautiful as a poncho. And then, she mentioned something that I should have thought about myself, and you can do it with any single shawl pattern that you have. So you have a shawl pattern, right? Triangular, half circle, whatever shape it is. What do you do if you want to turn it into a poncho? So of course the easy way would be to make two of them, sew them together at the seam, leave it open up here, and you have a poncho. But you can also just multiply it to make it round or closure, So if it's a triangle shawl, multiply it to close it into a square. If it's a half circle, multiply it to close it into a circle. If it's a half, what is it? Half a pentagon. No, this is a half a octagon shawl. Multiply it and you get an octagon poncho. And then what you do is, instead of starting at row number 1, you start it from row number, 6, 7, however wide you need it in order to go around your neck so that you can put it over your neck. And once again, the first row, make it a foundation row and not a chain row. And you have a poncho. Just continue the shawl pattern, make it into a poncho, and this will work with any shawl pattern. So let's say you really love the Lost in Time shawl, which is a free pattern on Ravelry. All you gotta do is start it from the row number 1 of the repetition, but not the first one, but the second one where it has, 40, 80 stitches in the round, and start from there. And then work the pattern normally, and you will get a poncho. Hope that helped. Debbie's also lurking and working, and the other Debbie loves my humor. Thank you. Mare says she's just finishing a shawl, adding beads to the edging. Nice. And hello, Priscilla from Distinctive Crochet. You sent me an email. Please check when you get time. I will. You're listening and crocheting. I appreciate that. Thank you, Priscilla. Thank you for being here. If you had more curves like me, says Ursula, you would have thought of it yourself. Great. I'm happy you guys liked that tip. Hi, hello, welcome, Claptrap. You have to watch the replay. Yes, Hobby Live was at the same time, I know. How soon does the replay come on? Pretty much the minute the live stream is finished. So normally the minute the live stream is finished, YouTube starts uploading the replay. I don't know how long it takes, but I mean on my computer I can see it right away. Some people can see it right away. I see it from the comments. So when I say come back to the replay and comment to enter into the giveaway, some people comment right away, so I know they are that they see it right away. But I don't know. Every time it works differently. Yes, the naughty corner is full today, Catherine, just like I like it. Hello, Starla. Welcome. Thank you for joining. So, for those of you just tuning in, please don't forget to hit the like button. If you're not yet subscribed, please subscribe to the channel. Let me show you again what's in today's giveaway. And to enter into that giveaway, all you have to do is, once the video goes back into replay, come back and comment down below. The comment has to be something that's related to today's class. If it won't be something that's related to today's class, you won't be counted. And it cannot be something like, I was watching, I was here, or great class. Okay, it has to be a comment with content in it. It has something to do with today's class. And next week on Yarniversity, not next week on my 3K celebration on Thursday, next week on Sunday's Yarniversity, I will choose the winner. So here is what the winner can win. So we have this set of minis. It's 6 mini hanks of 10 grams each. They are 100% cotton in these wonderful colors. And to go along with them, we have this beautiful enamel pin from Lana Boo. And it says, things to do, buy yarn, squish yarn, repeat. Yeah. So this will go in there as well. And to go along with that, you will get this wonderful almond extract hand cream from Nivea. And that is in today's giveaway. And to enter into that, like I said, all you have to do is come back to the replay, comment down below something that has to do with today's chat. Okay, so in the same way that I just mentioned how to turn any shawl pattern into a poncho by starting from the middle, we can also turn any shawl pattern into a vest by adding armholes. How do you do that? So let's take a shawl. Oh, wait, I had a shawl here before. Where is it? I had a shawl that I wanted to use to show you guys. One second. All right, so here is a triangular shawl, but you can do it with any shape shawl. If you have a circle shawl, a half circle shawl, a, like I said, octagon, whatever shawl. So any shape shawl that you have. Thank you. Thank you, Claptrap. So this is a triangular shawl. Now let's say I love this pattern. I love this triangular shawl pattern. I would love it to be a vest. So here is how you can turn any shawl pattern, no matter what shape it is, into a vest. What do? You start your shawl normally and you crochet it until when you put it against your back, it goes from one shoulder to the other. Yeah, so right about this point in the shawl. And when I hold it against my body, it goes from one shoulder to the other. And then the next row that I start from wherever it starts, and I work all the way down to here. Okay, so where it's right under my armpit, and I chain in order to be able to put my arms through there. So, and then I skip the same amount of stitches as I chained. I work my next stitch in the next stitch and continue the shawl normally until I get to the other side, and then I do the same on the other side. So then I get 2 openings in the shawl, which are in the same place. Yeah, so I will get 2 openings here in the shawl. And I continue working the shawl according to the pattern. All that makes, it makes 2 holes in the triangle. And then I will be able to put my arms through it and wear that triangle as a vest. So now I'm wearing it as a shawl, but considering what I just explained to you guys, so imagine that my arms are going through it and they will come out of here and here, and I will have a triangular vest that I made using any shawl pattern that I want. And that would work with a triangular shawl. It will work with a half circle shawl. It will work with, like I said, any shape of shawl that you want. It will also work with any kind of mandala pattern that you have. So if you have a pattern of a mandala, okay, it doesn't necessarily, it's like a round pattern. It doesn't necessarily have to be aimed towards being a mandala vest. It can be just a pattern of a mandala that you found that looks very nice and you think, oh, that would be awesome as a mandala vest. All you gotta do is work the mandala as written until it is big enough to reach that the diameter of the mandala goes from one of your shoulders to the other. And then you do exactly what I said. You work the mandala and place your armholes in the equal distance from each other. So, you know, you count how many stitches you worked until the first armhole, and you work the same amount of stitches until the other, so they will be placed correctly in the circle. And in the next row, you continue working your mandala just as the pattern says, and you will get a circle vest. So in this way, you can turn any shawl pattern that you have into a vest pattern. Hope that was a good tip. All right. Were there any questions while I was babbling, or were you guys talking to each other? You guys like the shawl? Thank you. This shawl, by the way, it's the Nessie shawl by Sis Homemade. You can get it on their Ravelry. I mentioned them many times here before. So I think you can also get it on their website. So they also have a website now. The pattern is called Nessie. It's a beautiful shawl. Any one of their shawl patterns is beautiful, actually. All right, so I have no idea if my chat is stuck or you guys are just not saying anything. So just let me know if you liked that tip, if that was a useful tip for you guys. And I will move on to the next one, but first I'll take a sip of wine. Oh, okay. So Liz is saying it's wonderful information and she loves it. Thank you. Great tips. She likes that idea, says Priscilla. I'm very happy. Okay, so you guys are still here. You're not sure you understand, but you don't do vests. Oh, well, Mare, the idea is just that whenever you take whatever pattern you want, and the way you add armholes to it is that whenever it's big enough to add the armholes, you just chain the amount of chains that you need in order for your arms to pass through. Skip that same amount of stitches on your pattern and continue normally. Tammy, isn't there a way to fold the points to make it into a cocoon? Yeah, that works with squares. So when you have a square, I wish I did. No, I don't have a square here. But if you have a square pattern, all you have to do is take the top corners to the bottom corners, sew the sides together, and leave enough room in the middle for your arms to go through, and it becomes a cocoon sweater. So that works with any pattern of a square. So you can even take, one of those very complex square blankets which every row is a different stitch and it's like very intricate and whatever, and you can make those into a cocoon. It will be amazing. So any pattern of a square. Jana says she thinks you will have to see armholes put in a shawl to completely understand, but she loves the idea. I think we have some pictures. Someone did that. Was it Julie? Is Julie Nicholson still here? And Julie, was it you? I think she posted pictures on a Facebook group a while ago. Can you tell us about the poncho behind you? Yes, Judy, this is my Asgard shawl / poncho, which I made it as a shawl, and then Ursula suggested that I turn it into a poncho, and I did, but the poncho that I made with the same pattern is not here with me right now because I'm still working on it, so it's in the living room. But this is my pattern. It's going to be released this coming week. So not tomorrow, but probably sometime around Wednesday on the Etsy shop. Like I said, it is my pattern. It's called the Asgard shawl. How would I make the neck hole into a rectangular shawl? No, it becomes a vest, so you don't have to make a neck hole. All you have to make is armholes. And then so it will look, wait, let me hold it right. It will look like this. And your arms, let's see if I can show you guys. So, for example, so it will look like this. My arms will be coming out of where they are now. And this will be the front, like this. You don't make a neck hole, you make armholes. But if it's a rectangular shawl, the same way. They will just fall in the front. Hello, Add-ons World. Welcome. Thank you for joining me. Please don't forget to hit the thumbs up. And if you're not yet subscribed, I would very much appreciate if you consider subscribing. You think an average amount of inches for an armhole is 9 inches or 22 centimeters? Could be. I mentioned numerous times today, I follow my own body, so I don't I do it to fit me or the person I make it for. But if you like standard measurements, then you can make those too. Right, Julie, it was you. I remembered correctly. And Mocha said she did that with an Afghan. I think you refer to turning the Afghan into a cocoon. It's called Asgard. Yes, like the Norse gods' city. Yes, Asgard. Will look like a boat neckline. If you make the shawl twice and sew them along the sides, then you will get like a nice boat neckline as well. Thank you, Ursula. Many of these on Ravelry. You made one for the vestiary. Yes, exactly. I remember someone made that. You adapt a lot of patterns into alternate types of garments. That's wonderful, Julie. Wonderful. That's what we're here for today. So the last idea tip thing that I have for you today, and then you can ask questions. But I do ask that all the questions that you will ask will be things about whatever we talked about today. Because as I have said, this is a series. This is an ongoing series. Today was the first episode of the design workshop series, which will last all through April. So if you came in late today, I highly recommend that you come back and watch the replay, because the next episode will be building on today's episode, and every week we will be building on until eventually at the end of April we will talk about designing your own garment from scratch. But in order to do that, you need to have the basics, which is what today was the basic of the basic of the basic, and the next week we will build on top of that. So I highly recommend that if you missed some part of today's live stream, you will come back and watch it again so that you will be ready for next week for the next level. So I do ask that any questions that you have after I talk about this last point, any questions that you have will be about today and not about things that I did not talk about, because I'm not going to start answering things that we're going to talk about in other weeks. Okay, so the last tip, idea, pattern alternating that I wanted to talk about is how to turn any poncho that you have into a skirt. So, and this works always. So I just explained to you how to take a shawl and turn it into a poncho. And now I'm going to explain to you how to take a poncho and turn it into a skirt. So let's say we have a poncho pattern, and that poncho pattern has so-and-so stitches on the neckline. But if we take the same way that we spoke about before, take that exact pattern, and we started a few rows lower, so it will be big enough to fit around our waist. And then all we have to do is add a band or a stretchy band. So remember, don't use chain to begin your work. Always use a foundation row. So foundation, double crochet, single crochet, triple crochet, whatever. Do that as your first row, and then work your poncho, shawl, whatever pattern from there down to the length you want your skirt to be. Then go back up to where you did that foundation row and add a band. A band can be anything. It can be some rows of front post, back post, you know, to make it a little bit stretchier. It can be some rows of double crochets that you later thread a string through, or maybe you crochet an I-cord and put it through there, or you know, something like a lace or whatever, and you thread it through. And then that band is the top of your skirt, what goes around your waist, and you have the rest of the skirt is that poncho pattern that you have. So let's say you have a pattern of a circle shawl. All you have to do is start it from, I don't know, row number 10, 20, depending on how big you need the opening up top to be. Add a band to it, and you have a skirt. And you can also have a triangular skirt, which will, once you wear it, if you take a triangle and you wear it around your waist, it will be like this asymmetrical kind of thing that has like a point in the front, or you can turn it around, you'll have the points in the side, and it will be sort of like a Fokuhila, what we call here in Germany. Any shawl / poncho pattern can be altered into a skirt that way. And all you have to remember is keep an eye on the stitch count, so that you have the right amount of stitches around on your first row, as the pattern says. So if I started at row number 20 and the pattern says that on row number 20 I should have 80 stitches, then my foundation row should have 80 stitches, and from there on I will just continue going down from row 21 of the pattern. I hope that was clear enough the way that I explained it now. You got the idea? I was thinking of making a long rectangular shawl and fold it over the head, then sew the sides. Then I would need a neck hole, maybe a rectangular one. Oh, I understand what you were saying. A Thor cowl and a Loki beanie. Oh my god, I love Loki. I just saw a picture of Tom Hiddleston today. I mean, okay, I love Loki in general. He's a wonderful, wonderful character. But specifically, the Marvel Loki. Oh my god, I love it. Tom Hiddleston is a wonderful, wonderful actor. And he's, you know, kind of easy on the eyes too. Hey, Veronica, welcome. Thank you for joining in. Could someone post a link of the picture, the rectangular shawl into a vest, to the comments? You don't have Facebook, so you cannot see the which one do you mean? The rectangular, any rectangular pattern into a cocoon, or the triangular shawl that was made into a vest. Those are two different things. How to turn a beanie into pants? Oh, Catherine, that's a good question. Yeah, definitely. You can email me, and then I will give you the links to both. Right, Kim? Right, totally. So Anita said she can't wait for the Marvel Disney Plus Loki series. It's coming. It's coming. It's coming. Yeah, I'm a I'm a big Tom Hiddleston as Loki. Wonderful casting. Loki in general is a wonderful character. I mean, even in the comic series and in general in the Norse mythology, wonderful character. And you guys know me, total Slytherin. I'm the trickster. That's me. That's totally like up my alley. I even call my son Loki. So I mean, okay. So that's like, yeah, I love him. But the casting of Tom Hiddleston as the Loki is genius. Triangular shawl into a vest. Yes, send me an email. I will send you the link. Yes, did everyone remember to thumbs up? Please don't forget. All you gotta do is hit that thumbs up button. It's right underneath the screen. It looks like the like on Facebook. You press that. It helps me as a creator a lot. It costs you absolutely nothing. Who is not shocked that Reggie loves Loki? See? Mocha knows me. She knows me. She's my girl. Winter Soldier is a really bad boy on the current. Oh yeah. I watched that too. The Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Catherine is the Chris Hemsworth fan. Sends Home and Away. Oh, ooh, you go way back. Who all loves the way Reggie says serious? Show of hands. Who? Okay, no. You know, someone was saying that week about the 10 Yarny questions that are going around the Yarny community. And I was saying, I think there are some questions that everyone who watches me can answer for me. Like, and not just these specific 10 Yarny questions, but like there are like questions about me that even if you don't know the right answer, you can probably guess, and 99% of you guys will guess correctly, because like I think I'm quite like me on all of my videos, and I mean, you guys must dig that because you're here, unless you're just sitting there sipping your wine making fun of me, which is fun, okay too. Guys, no one can put links in the chat if they're not a moderator. So if you did put a link in the chat, no one else can see it. Only Catherine can put links in the chat. But I think we'll just agree that anyone who wants any link for anything that I mentioned today from me, you can email me and I'll send you the link. And if you're on the Facebook group, I will post it there too. Linda's a Gryffindor. You guys know I'm a Slytherin. Janice says she's old enough to be a Han Solo fan. Well, you don't have to be old to be a Han Solo fan. Yes, exactly. Unique flowers. I like that definition. Tammy says she watched the original Star Wars when she was a young thing. Yep, Han Solo. I still love him. I do. I still love him too. Okay, so anyone, any questions regarding what we were discussing today, which is the basics of alternating a pattern. I told you guys, I told you all right from the beginning, don't follow the rules. Just because you had a pattern that someone written down the sizes does not mean that that's right for you. It may have worked wonderfully for the people who tested the pattern. It does not mean that if you do it the same way, it will work the same way. We all crochet differently. yarn is different all around the world. Worsted weight there is not the same as a worsted weight here, and even here, 2 worsted weight yarns can be different. Changing hook sizes, changing yarn weights. We were talking about changing length of a stitch, single crochet to double crochet to that. We were talking about working more multiples of the pattern, so make it longer, but by making more of the stitch count or the multiple stitch count, or making something longer by working more rows of the repetition rows. I did not talk about how to figure out what a multiple is and what the stitch count is, because I spoke about that when we were talking about crochet math, and I highly recommend to anyone who missed that live to go back and watch the live about crochet math, as well as the live that we had about how to read crochet diagrams and charts. It will help you guys a lot, especially as we continue talking about design this upcoming month. So while I wait to see if you guys all have any questions for me, I am going to remind you all that on this upcoming Thursday, we're going to have the big celebration of the 3K of the channel. There's a lot of prizes. Some people today already mentioned in the chat that they wanted to donate prizes, but if you are a maker of any kind and would like to donate something as a prize to that celebration, then definitely contact me. Email or Instagram or Facebook, everything goes. I answer all of them, and we'll work something out. I also have a lot of prizes that I have prepared for that celebration, so there will be a lot of prizes. It will not be a trivia game like we do on the holidays. It will be something different, and there will be a lot of things for you guys to win, so definitely join me for the 3K celebration on Thursday. I also mentioned that the 2021 Yarn Advent Calendar was posted to the Etsy shop, and anyone interested in that, go check it out on my Etsy shop. Don't forget that viewers of my channel get 15% off with the code that's in the description box below. You can use it again even if you already used it once, and members of the channel get 20% off with their special members code. And if you can't find the where on the channel the membership tab is and where the code is, just write me and I will tell you the code. I know who the members of the channels are, so I know if you're a member of the channel and you will write me, I will know that you're supposed to have that code, and I will give it to you, and it will give you 20% off on anything on the Etsy shop. Also, I mentioned in the beginning of today's live that currently 3 of my very favorite makers are having different sales. The first one is Martin's Lab. I just did a video about this business this week, so you can go back and watch my video to see what they're about. And if you're interested, until Monday, so still today, still going on, they have a 40% off sale on their website. You can still go and grab something cool. And no code needed, automatic at the register. Also, Amelia X Joy, where I get a lot of my project bags. She also donated a lot of prizes to previous game shows that we had. She is having 20% off of her Etsy shop as well. I put her link in the description box below, and I also have a video about her in my channel if you want to go watch that and see what she makes. So again, this weekend only on her Etsy shop, 20% off. And Scritzy hand cream that I love. I spoke about them a lot on my channel. Special discount code 10% off of whatever you want in the Etsy shop in the description box below as well. All right, see what you guys are saying. Mary says hooks are different and everyone's tension is different. Correct. Thursday will be exciting, says Catherine. You do your giveaway draw and I do your live. Yes, if you guys did not enter Catherine's giveaway yet, go enter. She's a wonderful thing on her giveaway. I want to win that giveaway. Mocha says now she wants to turn an Afghan into a pair of pants. I want to see that. Please, please, I want to see that. Yes, if you're not yet a part of our Facebook group, come join us on Facebook. You just started tutorial for a baby dress. The number of stitches is supposed to make 80 centimeters long foundation. Yours is 20 centimeters long. See, that's exactly what I was talking about. You're still on tutorial lookout for a summer baby dress in DK for a 1-year-old and you cannot read the pattern. Claptrap, have you seen the Abigail baby dress tutorial on my channel? Go back to my channel. Abigail baby dress, you know all my tutorials are made in a way that you can size them to whatever you want, use whatever yarn you want, whatever hook you want, and the dress is adorable. This is the Abigail fairy dress video tutorial on my channel. Go check it out. Works with any yarn weight, any hook, any size you need. Full tutorial on my channel. Go check it out. Julie says one of her vests was actually a crochet along from the Furls blog. Oh, so maybe Julie, maybe you can post that link on the Facebook group for everyone. Thank you, Veronica. I will look forward to that. Okay, Kim, sure. Julie Nicholson, what is your channel name? I'm not sure Julie has a channel, but she is very active on our Facebook group. And also on my Facebook page. She posts a lot of things to the community thing on the Facebook page. All right. So I didn't see any questions. So I think that means that today's class was clear enough for you guys. My Abigail dress was made with a Cotton Kings Twills Deluxe. It is a yarn sold on the Hobby website. I don't remember the colorway name. I think I'm saying it in the beginning of the video tutorial, but I don't remember what colorway is it right now. It is a fingering weight 100% cotton. But like I said many times, each one of my patterns can be made with any yarn you want. So once you watch the tutorial, you will understand. You can pretty much use any yarn weight you want, any hook size you want, any fiber you want, and make this. If you look on my Instagram, you will see a picture of this dress that I made for my niece. She is 1 year old, and I made her in a baby size of this dress. This one that I'm holding right now is like for a 2-year-old. It fits about the 2-year-old. And I made one for my niece in a size 9 to 12 months with 100% tencel yarn, because you guys all know that's my favorite fiber. And I have pictures of her wearing it on my Instagram. Her parents sent me pictures of her wearing it when she got it in the mail. So you can size it to whatever. You can make it in adult size. All you gotta do is follow the tutorial. Claptrap doesn't have Facebook. Oh, okay. So just like I said, email me. I'll send you whatever you want. Oh, you do have a channel, Julie. I did not know that. I will go check you out. Yes, of course. Of course it's hobby yarn. You're welcome, Doris. Thank you for being here. Describe Reggie in 3 words which are crochet related. Yeah, exactly. J-hook, red, hobby. See, Catherine knows me. I think all of you can answer those questions. I mean, if I do those 10 yarny questions, all I gotta do, I will read the question, you guys will say the answer. Everyone knows, right? You thought that the Abigail dress is for sport weight. You cannot measure for the baby, so you have to go by whatever size is given. Well, I'm sorry, but that's the whole point of what we were talking about today, is to explain how to take any pattern and size it. If you don't know her measurements, I'm pretty sure that by her, you can go by a standard measurement. So if you Google standard measurements for I don't know, 6 months old, then you will get the standard measurements and then go by that. That that if that can help you, that might help you to size this Abigail fairy dress. But if you are 100% locked on getting a pattern that says exactly how much to chain and how much to with a 3-weight yarn, then I sadly cannot help you because I don't know these kind of patterns. Hello, Heather. You are very welcome. Thank you for being here. Hello, Erica, coming in late. We'll watch the replay. Hello, welcome. Gerne schön. Okay, so you guys, thank you all very, very much for watching. I hope that today's information was helpful to you all. If you came in late, missed the beginning, or came in the beginning, had to leave early, I highly recommend that you all watch the replay, because if you don't watch a replay next week when we will do part 2, you will have no idea what I'm talking about. I'm not going to repeat things. But since there were no questions, then I think that everything I spoke about today was clear enough. If you're watching it on replay and you have questions, you can write them in the comment section below this video. Don't forget to come back to the video and comment down below anything that was related to today's class, maybe what helped you the most, to enter into the giveaway. And we will draw the winner for that next week on Yarniversity. And don't forget to join me on Thursday for the big 3K celebration. If you haven't yet, please don't forget to hit the thumbs up. If you're not yet subscribed to the channel, I would very much appreciate it if you consider subscribing. As always, I'm going to let the chat run for a few more minutes so that everyone can say goodbye to everyone. And I hope I will come across you all on the YouTube hauls this week. So thank you all very, very much for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye.